Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called No Pagers Allowed. In the early 90s, we didn't have cell phones, we had pagers. Someone would dial a number, punch in the number, and it would beep at you and show what number you were supposed to call back on. They were very useful. I was working at a company at that time, and almost everyone had pagers. It was very useful, as if someone wasn't at their desk, they usually had their pager number known to everyone who needed it, so we would just page them. Well, one of the company executives had watched something on TV about how pagers were being used for illegal transactions. He watched the whole TV program and was 100% convinced that everyone walking around the office with pagers was stealing out of the office, which was dumb. So the next day, we all get a notice, by paper. No non-company pagers are allowed in the office or used for any company business anymore. Well, the thing was that the company didn't provide most of the pagers. Most of the pagers had been paid for by us individually, and we used them for personal and business reasons. Cue malicious compliance. All of us started leaving our pagers in our car. And when we were off the clock, no longer answered them if we knew it was a work number calling, which was pretty easy to figure out based on the number paged to you. Some of us were in charge of pretty important systems, and if they crashed, it would cause a lot of problems. Well, since we didn't have company-provided pagers and we stopped answering those pages, they had no choice but to leave us messages on our home answering machines. And, wouldn't you know it, amazingly everyone was getting home really late at night, much too late to be able to do anything about the problem while it was impacting business. So 2 or 3 times a week, some system would have a problem during swing shift. They would try to page us, get no answer, and then they'd leave a message at our homes. And we wouldn't call back until after the swing shift had left. So swing shift was just sitting around doing nothing and getting paid for it. After about 2 weeks of this, we were actually surprised it lasted this long. A notice came out that the new pager policy had been retracted. And it asked that we start answering our pagers after hours again. Some people played hardball and refused, saying it was their personal pagers, and if the company wanted them to answer a pager for company business, the company could buy them one. So the company ended up having to buy a ton of pagers and pay for service they didn't have to before because of this. All in all, because the executive had watched a TV program, the company lost tens of thousands of dollars in production and paying people to stand around, and had to spend thousands on brand new pagers and service for a bunch of people. Not so mysteriously, that executive retired a few months later. The next story is called No Phones Allowed. I work in healthcare, where phones are not to be used while on the floor caring for patients, etc. for privacy reasons, which is fine and understandable. Most of us have our phones on us or in the break room, and don't use them unless on break or away from patient care areas. None of us check our phones while busy, and if they do, we'll always get called out for it by other staff. We were all recently in a meeting where we were told we are no longer allowed to have our phones on us, as it is a distraction and against policy. This means they are not to be used unless we are out of the unit or off hospital grounds. A few people piped up and said they had young kids in care where their phone was the direct communication for the carers. Or there are issues at home that they needed to have their phone to have quick contact if needed, even if it was left in the handbag and could be checked on breaks. Not only that, but we have a half-hour unpaid lunch break where we should be able to use our phones as we see fit. But this was also denied, as it's still in a healthcare setting and could cause WHS issues. Now, I know working in healthcare and personal mobile phones don't mix, as it is really against policy. However, the issue with denying us complete access was a total overreaction. The issues with requiring quick and direct contact with home or other outside work contacts was brushed off, and we were told if the issues were that bad at home, we shouldn't be at work. Many people were a bit taken aback by this, saying a lot of the home issues are resolved by a quick text back, and not allowing us access to our phones while at work was a bit unreasonable. Our manager said if that is the case, we can give people her direct work number and for contact to go through her. She will relay the message to us or give the phone to us to talk to whoever is calling. So cue malicious compliance. We all gave everyone the direct work line to call for any reason if they are unable to get in contact with us directly, and the phone started ringing continuously. First was a lady whose husband needed approval for a big financial decision at home. The next was a rat calling to tell a coworker the dog needed to be put down. I got a call from my children's daycare saying my son had been bitten and was bleeding. Mandatory reporting policy. There were several other phone calls within the span of a few hours. My manager was running around to find us to relay messages or pull us off the floor so we could speak to the callers. This was wasting more time than if we were allowed to shoot through a quick text or make a quick phone call while on our breaks. The next day we were told we can have access to our phones while on break and to please tell our home contacts to stop calling the manager's phone. It took a few days for everyone to get the message, meaning there were still many unnecessary calls coming through. But it made it obvious that the need for communication lines to be open at home was important. The third story is called Take Your Business Elsewhere. This happened many years ago at the company I currently work for. At the time we had about 130 company vehicles at our location and our own fuel pumps. Our location is a few miles outside of town. There was one small privately owned gas station within 100 yards of our company. It received a lot of our business because while we did not get gas there, our employees would stop in the morning, lunch and after work to pick things up. Their breakfast business was very strong. One of the owners was very rude. She would curse at us to hurry up and pick what we wanted, but for the most part they were okay. There was a change in the law on below ground fuel pumps and we found out that we could no longer provide our own fuel to company vehicles. As a result, we made a deal with the small gas station to provide all the fuel for our company. Right away, it was a nightmare. They only had 4 regular pumps and 1 diesel pump. While the regular cars could fuel up at different times, our large trucks would bottle up bad in the morning at the 1 pump. We sat down with them and requested they install a fast diesel pump designed for large trucks. I was actually in on that meeting. The wife just laughed at us. She said there was no way in hell she would pay for that. And if we did not like it, we could just take our business elsewhere. In her mind, we did not have a lot of options, and even if we did, she would still have all our breakfast, lunch and after work business. Cue compliance. So we did. We did not want a repeat of what was happening at this location, so we supplied all employees with a Comdata card so they could get fuel any place they wanted. This hurt that business more than anyone could have realized. With our employees now stopping at the locations of their choice, they no longer need to stop to pick up snacks, drinks or food at the store. Their morning, lunch and after work business evaporated. 3 months later they came to our company to let us know they would now install the new pump. We told them it was too late. As they remember, after we said no, the angry woman got mad again and used the F word. 1 month after that, just the husband came by and asked if there was anything he could do to get our business back. We had signed a contract and it was actually saving us money, so we said no. They closed the store about a year after that and tried to sell the location for $1 million. It sat for years until it finally went for about $100,000 to a veterinary clinic. The last story is called No Headphones Allowed. I work in a warehouse and we are allowed to use speakers but no headphones for safety reasons. Last week I was informed of this rule and sent home early because I was wearing earbuds. I completely understand the rule after thinking about it, but my supervisor plays favorites and allows our forklift drivers as well as the team leads to wear earbuds. I'm not a forklift driver and don't work around them, but was informed we could not have them because you need to be able to hear your surroundings. I was told to buy a Bluetooth speaker if I wanted to listen to music. Fast forward to today. I purchased a speaker and it arrived. Mind you, almost every speaker in our facility is a small one, like 100W at most. I purchased a giant one. The speaker box itself is the size of a concert cabinet stack, about 5 feet tall and weighs over 100 pounds. My boss was both not impressed and impressed. As I walked in, his jaw dropped. Now they are trying to rewrite the speaker rule, but there's no way they'll ever do it, as his boss assures me for productivity reasons. And also, his boss encouraged me to turn it up when he told on me. I was able to hear my speaker blasting over 100 yards away over all the machinery at half volume. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.